Hi, this is Andrew Bronsky, and in this video I'm going to be taking you through the basics of using Google Drive. Alright, to start off here, you can see I'm just on the homepage for Google Canada. Now up in the top right hand corner here, you can see a little profile picture for myself. If you're not signed in, you can simply click on this. I can see I can sign myself out here, or you can click on this to sign in with your account. You can also use multiple accounts here. So for example, this would be my professional account here that comes from my school board. This is my Google Apps for Education account through my board. You can add on personal accounts here as well. If you click sign in, go through the setup for your school account. It's different board by board across Ontario. So for example, in the WRDSB, where I'm from, it's a bit of a mouthful. It's googleapps.wrdsb.ca. That'll be personalized to you, and so you can fill out your account there to get logged in. Each board has their own sign up to get in and different ways to get there. You'll have to decide that, figure that out for yourself. But this is a great place to come and set up and sign yourself in or sign yourself out, as you can see here. Once you're signed into your account, to access anything through Google, through any kind of Google-based page or Google-based app, up in the top right-hand corner, you also see these 9 little boxes that together make up, kind of looks like a larger box in some ways. And as you can see, as I hover over it here, it says Google Apps. So if I select that, I'll get a variety of options here. One, you can look at your personal account, look at settings for it. You can jump off to Google Search at any time. If you're familiar with Google Plus, you can use that. Access your Gmail account, Google Calendar, and then some other options here like Drive, Docs, Sheets, Slides. You also have the option for more. If you're a Google Classroom user, you can click on more and usually find it there as well. So if I clicked on Docs, that would jump immediately into a Google Doc tied to my account. I could just start typing and working on it right away. Same for Slides. But here we want to be looking at Drive, and this is the easiest way to get into Google Drive. So I'm just going to click on the Google Drive icon here, which is this 3 different colored bands that make up a triangle. And once I select that, I can see it brings me into my personal Drive account. If you haven't been using Drive before, the first time you come here, you're not going to see all these folders and files. I've been using Drive for quite some time. I'm a pretty avid user, so you can see I got a fair bit going on here. Okay, so some basic and simple setup here. First thing, up in the top right-hand corner, you can see so it's logged into my account here. This one is for any updates you're getting as you kind of go through. You can see the 9 boxes again, which I can access to jump into various things. And then just beneath that, I've got 4 options here. The first off is to toggle your view. So I can see I'm in a list view, right? I can switch over to list view here. So I click this. I can get a list of my folders and files as I scroll through. Or I can go back to the grid view, which is what I personally like, and I can see those here. You can also sort options, so with the kind of A to Z, or most recently used, or last updated, different ways to sort through there. You can see them here, modified, last opened by. You can also look at view details, see what the activity's been in your doc, who's used things last, what was the most recently updated document. Okay. Or you can look at your settings here and jump into settings as well. You can download Drive to your computer, and that's something we can talk about another time. You can get into your settings here as well. All right, so that's kind of just the basic navigation for this. Off to the left here, I can see I'm in my Drive right now. Drive is a couple things. First off, it's a cloud storage space, so it's a great spot to upload files to. Then they're not tied to a specific device or your computer. It's hard drive, but they're stored in the cloud for you. And when we're talking about the cloud, what we're really looking at is that it's saved on servers that aren't tied to any device specifically that you have. So whatever you're on, whatever device it may be, whether it's a tablet, your phone, a computer, desktop computer, laptop, it's really irrelevant. You just need to come to Google Drive, log in, and then you have access to those files. You can upload whatever you like to Drive, so it can be photos and a variety of settings. It can be PDFs, Word files, PowerPoint, whatever you like. It's just that kind of space to store a file. Think of it kind of like a USB stick, but instead of like having to carry the stick around, it's just saved into this cloud space for you. Okay. That's the first part of Drive. The second part of Drive is that it's also a creation space. It's a spot to come in, create documents, and work with things as well. So the second piece to Drive here is more of a creation standpoint, and there's a variety of ways to create within Google Drive and through the Google Apps domain. We'll come back to that in a sec. So you can see this is kind of basic for my Drive here. The second spot here I can see is shared with me. If I click on this, it will jump into a new screen. I can see today and earlier this week and earlier this month, and these are files that others have shared with me. So when someone shares something within the Drive, we'll get into the sharing later, But when someone shares a file with you, it doesn't automatically go into your drive. It stays in the share with me space. If I want to add something to my drive, so for example, someone shared the Some Ideas doc with me today, if I right click on it and get a quick preview on it and kind of just view it, I can open it with a variety of things here. I can share it with others, I can get a unique link to it, or if I click on add to my drive, it will then specifically add it to my drive. I can also download the file and make a copy of it. If I just don't want it, I can remove it too. Okay. So that's the shared with me space. There's other toggles here, so I can jump into very recent documents if I star certain things. If I delete something, it actually stays in my trash for a while. Down here, you can see how you're using the space in your drive. So that's kind of the basics there for kind of navigating drive. I'm going to jump back into my personal drive here. And then a very important piece, and the last piece I'm going to talk about here is this new button. So up in the top left, you get new. And this is kind of if you want to do anything with your Google Drive, this is the space to come to. So if I click on the new button here, first thing, very basic, I'm going to add a folder. And so if I'm adding a folder, this is basically just a way for me to store or organize myself in here. So you can see I've created a variety of folders in here. You can personalize them, color them by doing a right click on them. Next up is file upload. As I mentioned, the first thing Google Drive is a cloud storage space, so I can upload any file. This would be off of my device that I'm on, so in this case, my laptop computer. I could click on this, search the files on my hard drive, and upload them here into the cloud. And then again, the great thing about that is when they're stored in the cloud, they're not tied to just that device anymore. But if I go and say, I do this at home with my laptop, and then the next day I go into work, jump on a desktop computer in my office, log into my Google Drive account, and then that file will be stored there for me. So I could print that off from work from a different computer or do whatever that may be. Folder upload here is another great option too. Now this will only work from a Google Chrome web browser. So if you're using something like Safari or Firefox or Internet Explorer, you won't be able to use this option. But the folder upload is fantastic, a great way to save yourself some time. So if you have kind of one giant folder or a number of folders you use for docs related to school or things you want to be working on, you can actually upload that entire folder. And I'll have the subfolders and the subfolders in there and subfiles. So that can save yourself a lot of time by just uploading a few folders here. So that'd be the cloud storage piece and kind of uploading things and storing them in the cloud for yourself. The second part of this new button here is the creation piece. So if I click on Docs here, for example, create a Google Doc, that'll take me to a blank document, which is very similar to Microsoft Word or Pages if you're on a Mac. Google Sheets would be very similar to Microsoft Excel, and Google Slides would be very similar to PowerPoint. There are also other options here. If you click on More, you can see things like Google Forms, Google Drawings, and you can connect a whole variety of other apps to this as well. Okay, well, that's the basics for working with Google Drive and getting set up here. Thanks for listening.